I've got two games set up here, one against Soulstones and one against Cool Clown. I don't actually remember what happens in these games, but I usually tag my games like that when they're interesting or fun for some reason. So we'll see how it goes. And at the end of the deck list, I will show you, at the end of the video, I'll show you what's in the deck list. Anyway, my opening hand was a mulligan. Take that, second hand, perfect. And yes, there is a Cryptic Command back in the deck, a recent addition. So I get to turn to Edric and draw a couple of cards. Turn 3, I'm able to Chrome Mox into Oracle, getting rid of Unified Will, and then apply a Strip Mine. I'm going to go ahead and minimize the top of my library. 2 is white mana, so no Supreme Verdict for him this turn. Plays Silence, and so I just attack after drawing a card, and I get Drastodon Mineral's Bribery. Not that I know that he has Supreme Verdict, but you know, if I can try to prevent him from getting the mana, I will. He gets... But this turn he plays Strand Dynamo, and I get to play Cryptic Command. First time in quite some while. So what I do is I go ahead and just counter it and return the Chalice to his hand. And draw a couple more cards looking for free lands. There's one, and Green Sun Zenith for 3 equals Witness on Strip Mine. There's the second free land. Metamorph on Witness on Strip Mine. And he gives up. That's why. I think it was that Strip Mine turn that I thought was super cool, that interaction with Oracle and Green Sun Zenith's ability to be regrowth in that particular case. Totally awesome. So, game 2, I'm playing against Cool Clown, and we'll see what makes this game interesting. Mono Blue Talrand can be often an annoying deck to have to face. So mulligan the first hand, there's no speed. The second hand doesn't have speed terribly, but it's got Chase, it's got Remand, it's got mana. I decide I'm going to keep that, and we'll see if I regret that decision or not. And then somehow I was totally spacing out, and I don't play first turn map, and it really hurts me, because the plan was turn 1 map, turn 2 land, go, Remand if he makes a play, and if he doesn't, sack the map for Ancient Tomb. Now, I can't even play the map, so he goes for a Lantern, and I remand it to just buy some time. Finally I'm able to play the map. But instead I decide Edric, so look at this. Really set me back quite a bit, missing that first turn. Excuse me. So he goes with Talrand, and I figure this is kind of what I want him to do, right? I'm just going to hopefully rip a land and Jace it back to his hand and call it good, but he's got an extra land and a bounce spell to go with it. So now that Jace plan's not looking too good, and in fact I'm quite a bit behind him. So I just bounce his Talrand after playing my map finally to stall. Excuse me. Unfortunately he doesn't replay it. So here I had to figure out what the play was. I figured he probably had a counterspell. I can't really play Edric because he's got Brittle Effigy. If he's got a counterspell, any of these spells, like any one of these spells, could be the key to recovering this game, and I don't know which one it's going to be. The best play here for me probably is just to cast Jace, because if he doesn't have a counter, I could bounce the Drake. But of course, he'll then kill it with Fairy Conclave. So even that's not that great. It'd probably be Jace and +2 it. And that's assuming and hoping he doesn't have a counter, and that means I don't get to map at the end of his turn. So, because I am still hurting for mana due to that misplay early, I just say go. He recasts his commander, and then in response, so if he has any counters, I don't want him to get guys. So in response, I go ahead and fetch, map for Tomb and Mystical Tutor for Mana Drain, and then I let it resolve. Not that I could do anything about it. And so, I decide after combat what I have to do is cast a Jace and actually just brainstorm with the Jace. A 4-mana brainstorm to try to save this game. And it looks pretty good. So, I put back Simic Growth Chamber underneath of a Trinket Mage. And I am in great shape now because I just drew Dryad Arbor. So Jace dies. But Dryad Arbor means I get to declare an attack step and play a 0-mana creature, which is key here, as I can hardcast Natural Order with my counterspell ready to go. He played a Whispers on his turn and got a guy, it doesn't matter. And he attempts to counter it, so quite fearfully I attempt to counter his counter. I mean, he knows I have the mana drain, right? And he taps some mana, and I feel like, okay, I'm probably sunk. But what he does is activate Train Generator. And my counter resolves, and my order resolves. What do you get? What do you get? Well, for the first time in a long time, it is not Trestodon. The answer is Strange Hermit. So I pass for the turn, hoping that he would make the misplay of Brittle Effigying the Hermit, so I don't have to pay the upkeep. Instead, he makes the misplay of, well, he twisted images, so he gets a free guy. I guess that's not a misplay. So I let my Hermit go. And then this turn, I'm thinking what I want to do is Trinket into... I'm trying to get an opposition down, right? But I was thinking I'll Trinket into Map, and then get Cradle, tapping 2, 3 for Cradle, then tap the Cradle for 5, 6, 7, cast Opposition, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7 is a Sword of Fire and Ice. So I thought, man, I've got this set. Love being able to Trinket for Cradle. Except, I already used it. So, I have to settle for the lowly Soul Ring. I thought about Clamp, but Opposition's the only chance I have this game, so Clamp is a no-go on that one. So I get down with Edric first. Figured he might counter it. This is a decent bait spell, because, I mean, it looks like I could be drawing a lot of cards, and if he did have a counter as his last card, he probably would have countered that there. So, Opposition's probably safe, unless the counter he has is Mana Leak, in which case I just set myself up for failure. But I go for it, and resolves. And I'm like, don't have a Rift in your hand. It looks like he's got nothing, and thankfully he wasted his Whispers, or I'd be in much trouble. So in the turn he uses his Effigy on my Edric, and I could have tapped something in response, but I just said heck with that. It's fine. And he doesn't have any other plays. So, he enters his combat step, and I go ahead and tap everything except for his Conclave, so that if he wants to swing, he can at least spend mana to do it. Not that he's choking on mana, but it could matter if Winter Orb comes up. So I take a few points of damage, and he says done. So, I lead off with Sword. Sword safe. Equip Trinket, that way if he has a bounce spell in response, he'll bounce the guy I want. No bounce spell seems to be forthcoming, and I get this guy off the table because my fear is that he'll just keep producing, Drake after Drake, Whispers, that kind of thing, Capsize or whatever. So, even though I could kill these permanently and this will come back, this represents many more possible guys, depending on what he draws. I mean, he could draw like Tidings into something, and then I'm really done for. So I just get this off the table, forcing him to spend 6 mana to replay it next turn. And hopefully, since I've got extra cards in my hand, drawing enough creatures to choke his mana down. So I make that play there. And the nice thing here is, now I'll be able to move this, shift the sword around if I leave a flyer untapped, and have a flyer as a blocker. And so, excuse me, depending on what I'm doing with my mana, man, I have Cough combined with the Hiccups. That's pretty torturous. Anyway, so I top deck Karn, and he appears to have drawn nothing. And so, for whatever reason, doesn't play his commander, though. So swinging to see if he's got a trick, and then decide I'm just going to go for it. And he's got nothing. I guess he didn't play his commander because he doesn't want the cost to keep going up, and I have Sword. So Karn shows up to the party, and that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that game. I got to actually play the new card in the deck, which is an old card for the deck, but one that I previously don't believe I had enough blue to support, which I now feel comfortable playing, having been egged on to return it to the deck by my friend Brian Weissman. He kept pushing forward, and I kept saying I couldn't find a slot. Well, eventually I did find a slot. I took out the 1/1 shadow creature who allows you to draw a card and discard the Looter Ilkor. That was the slot. So Cryptic Command is in. It's a little bit slower. It doesn't really support Edric as much, but it's so powerful. And occasionally, you just tap all their blockers and draw a billion cards, or you get that counterbounce play or whatever. And because of that power and flexibility, it's almost like having an extra. It's a single target removal spell in many senses. So for all that, it's just too good. And you also get every once in a while you get the play of like end of turn bouncing your own Winter Orb and then untapping all your mana, getting back in the game that way sometimes. So I don't know what else I can do with the deck. Now it has like everything I like, everything I love is in one deck. Like this is it. It's got tutors, card drawing, the best counter spells in the format, the best mana except ramp in the format of both artifact and creature type and land type. -1 card. It doesn't have Crow's and Verge, but you can't, and it doesn't have Mishra's Workshop, but there's not enough artifacts for shop. I think this isn't worth it here. Most of them are cheap anyway, and Verge you're not allowed to play in a deck without white, so barring those few cards, it's just perfect. I don't know that it's the perfect deck, but for me it feels like the perfect build of the deck for the way that I like to play. So I'm extremely satisfied with it, and I may be turning my attention to a new project, as this seems to have there doesn't seem to be anywhere else to go. But I'll continue checking comments if you have any suggestions, and keeping an eye out for what else might show up in future sets, or what might be played against me, things I've overlooked, and maybe we'll make more adjustments. I don't know. At any rate, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.